right, as 2022 winds down, people start to think about New Year's resolutions like eating healthier and working out more. But not everyone is successful in reaching their goals.
Yeah, one thing that can help you stick through it, though, is being on top of the latest nutrition trends that are out there.
That's right. Jen Scheinman, a registered dietitian and nutrition affairs manager for Timeline Nutrition, joining us now with her top health trends for the new year. We thank you for being here, Jen. Let's get to it. Why do you think most people give up those resolutions to live healthier so quickly?
Yeah, great question. So I've been a dietitian for about 20 years. So just really from my experience, I think there's about three things that get in the way. And number one is people don't come up with like a stepwise plan to help them achieve their goals. So they come out of the gates and they don't really know what are they going to do in February? What are they going to do in March? And then following on that is they don't really have a good support system, or they're not truly motivated. They're just sort of riding the waves of New Year's. And then as February and March comes, they just have lost interest in that.
Well, so there's so many things out there right now about health and wellness, I think, which is probably exciting for you because there are new things, it seems, all the time. And I know you have some trends for 2023. And the first one I've noticed quite a bit is home testing labs. So what are people testing for, and how do they get the test, and is it a good idea?
Yeah, so great question. I think, after COVID, we've all become really comfortable with the concept of testing at home. Yeah. We've all done COVID tests and seen that it's so accessible, and it's also really easy to do, and they're accurate. So it's not really anything that's new, but what we're starting to see is being able to test anything from like a little finger stick of blood that can give you your blood glucose or can give you your cholesterol levels, or saliva for hormones, even doing stool tests for colorectal risk, or even looking at your microbiome. So I think the most important thing really to be aware of here is talking to your doctor about these, because these tests alone really cannot be a diagnosis. And so you want to make sure that you're following up with your healthcare practitioner. But it's so nice that you can get a lot of these tests either online, or you can get them even at your local pharmacies, and really have your healthcare in your own hands and be able to take that initiative.
Sure.
Jen, a second trend, promoting healthy aging. What's the impact of that having?
Yeah, so as more people are entering sort of the later stage of life between Gen X and baby boomers, we're seeing a lot more people who want to embrace being able to do the things that they did as they were younger. And there's a lot of research showing really what's happening to our body as it ages, and being able to understand that science and to be able to make changes based on our diet, our exercise, and even targeted supplements. And a really nice thing that we're seeing about that is really a change in the conversation too around aging, and really looking instead of anti-aging, because we know we can't prevent that, but pro-aging, and how can we embrace where we're at and live our best lives.
Yeah, I'm liking that word these days, that's for sure.
Me too.
This next one is a conversation I have often, but it really is about normalizing the conversation around women's menstrual cycles, wellness, menopause. For so long, these have really been called taboo topics. How do we make a bigger impact really for us and the next generation?
Yeah, so I think the first thing, just as you said, is kind of having these conversations and normalizing them. So we have, celebrities and, sharing their journeys, whether it's through their difficulties with fertility or, miscarriage, or just their menopause transition, and really talking about what's happening to them and making these conversations feel very comfortable, so women don't feel alone as they're going through this. And on the heels of that, one of the things that I just am really impressed with are some of these companies that are really starting to link women with healthcare practitioners that are experts in these fields. So through telehealth, wherever you are throughout the country, if you're really struggling with menopausal symptoms or issues with fertility, you can be connected with an expert, and you can kind of, work with them to work through your issues.
Jen, another health trend we want to talk about, the time people eat dinner. Everybody's like trying to intermittent fast and time this out, and don't eat before bed. What should we do?
Yeah, so there is some really great research showing that as we restrict the hours that we eat, there are some real significant health benefits. And this trend of eating dinner earlier, I think it actually really started after COVID, as people were sort of, didn't have anything to do at night, and it was dark and cold, and we were eating outside, so we were eating earlier. And then that translated into people noticing that they were sleeping better and feeling better even the next day, waking up less hungry and feeling more energetic. And so we have the studies to show that this is in fact true. When we restrict our eating to 12 or even 10 hours a day, that we have better blood sugar, better weight, better cravings. So this is sort of a social trend that really has some great science behind it as well.
Better able to get into restaurants because if you go early,
yeah,
they're kind of empty.
I've been doing that for years.
All right. Well, finally, a stronger focus on cellular health. So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so when we stop to think about it, our body is made up of trillions of cells. And sometimes we're so focused on the macro concept, like our heart health or brain health. But when we take a step back and we think about how these trillions of cells are producing energy, are helping to rid our bodies of toxins, and really thinking about what they need to thrive and work to their best of abilities, that's what cellular health is. And we're starting to see a lot of companies, supplement companies, that are coming out with great products that target cellular energy and the health of our cells. And one company that I think is doing a really nice job of this is Timeline Nutrition, and they have a product called MitoPure, which helps to target how our cells make energy. So if your cells are making more energy and they're doing that more efficiently, then your body is hopefully more energetic and also working better itself.
All right, good advice, Jen. We sure appreciate you coming in today, and thank you for being here and sharing these trends for our new year. If you want any more information,
so much.
You bet. See you next time. You want more information, visit the timeline, nutrition.com. Or you can follow Jen on Instagram at @JenSheinman_nutrition.